My name is Possible, and I'll be your tutor for today. Today we are going to learn microeconomics, the concept called equilibrium, market equilibrium. Now we have seen that we have two invisible hands of the market. We have supply and we have demand. And we have learned demand, so as we have also scrutinized the supply. In our previous lecture, we looked at how to bring demand function and supply function together. I hope it makes sense. And that was the point, the very point we introduced market equilibrium to. Today we are going to look at market equilibrium in deep of incarnation. I hope it makes sense. Now we are saying that when we talk about market equilibrium, it is the same as market clearing price and market clearing quantity, or the market clearing. I hope it makes sense. Market clearing. Or it is the state at which the market is zero. That is the market clearing. Or it is also called interior solution. Interior solution. So, provided you don't see market equilibrium or calculate for the equilibrium, rather you see calculate for the interior solution, then you should be notified or alerted that you are talking about market equilibrium. I hope it makes sense. Nice one. Now when we talk about market equilibrium, we are talking about the state at which the market is zero, or the point at which the market demand curve cuts the market supply curve. I hope it makes sense. The point at which the market supply curve cuts meets the market demand curve. That is using model. I hope it makes sense. Or it is the point at which market demand is equal to the market supply. I hope it makes sense. You can also say that it is the point at which the quantity supplied is demanded, or all of them are demanded. I hope it makes sense. Signifying that there's nothing called shortage and there is nothing called surplus in the market. The market is cleared. I hope it makes sense. Nice one. So that is the market clearing point. So representing it on a curve, we are going to get something like this: zero, quantity, and price. We said that is the point at which the market supply and the market demand meet each other. So here is the equilibrium. I hope it makes sense. Equilibrium, or the market clearing point. When you trace here to the quantity line, we get what is called equilibrium quantity. And when you trace here to the price line, you get what is called equilibrium price. Equilibrium price. Equilibrium quantity, equilibrium price. I hope it makes sense. Nice one. Now, that is the equilibrium price and that is the equilibrium quantity. Once we have seen equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity, we can stand there and calculate for the total revenue at the equilibrium. Total revenue is equal to total revenue is the same as total cost, please, or total cost is equal to equilibrium price times the equilibrium quantity. Put at the back of your mind. This times this will give us the total revenue or total cost. Put at the back of your mind. Now, we are saying that at this point, at the equilibrium point, the market is cleared. The market is cleared. And there is nothing like shortage or surplus. So we are saying that sometimes at an extreme price, at an extreme price, producers are willing to supply. At an extreme price, suppliers are willing to supply at a higher quantity, but the law of supply at an extreme price, suppliers are willing to supply here a lot of quantities. I hope it makes sense. But look at the consumers. Consumers are willing to consume here. Few goods, that is lesser goods or small goods. I hope it makes sense. So we could see that at the top here, which is the stream price, quantity supply is greater than quantity demand. Can you see it? Quantity supply, they are supplying probably 100 units, and then consumers are demanding 10 units. So you are saying that quantity supply is greater than quantity demand. And when quantity supply is greater than quantity demand, we are saying that there is an excess in the market. So the top here, excess. The origin above the equilibrium portion is the excess. So the excess is what is called surplus. Surplus in economics. Surplus. It's called surplus. So the excess, surplus is the excess of quantity supply over demand. I hope it makes sense. Good. So we are producing a lot, but people are demanding few. That is how it is. Now when we come down here, we could see that at a lower price, let us assume that here is 20 Ghana cedis. Now at a lower price here, probably let me say 5 Ghana cedis. At a lower price, look at the suppliers. They are not supplying. They are supplying 0 units. But the consumers are also demanding a lot of units. Here. I hope it makes sense. So over here too, we can say that at the down part here, quantity demand is greater than quantity supply. Can you see it? Quantity demand is greater than quantity supply. So quantity demand is greater than quantity supply at the down here. And if that happens, we are saying that we are having what is called shortage. Shortage in the sense that a lot of people are demanding. They want the commodity, but the suppliers are not supplying because there is no incentive in producing. So there will be a lot of people demanding a larger portion of consumers chasing fewer goods. I hope it makes sense. So there will be shortage on the market. I hope it makes sense. So this has introduced us to what is called surplus, and then what is called shortage. So we are saying that from the definition, we can write the formula for surplus as quantity supply minus quantity demanded. I hope it makes sense. And then we can also write the shortage formula as quantity demanded minus quantity supply. I hope it makes sense. Yes, that is the shortage formula, and that is the surplus formula. I hope it makes sense. Now, having understood the shortage and the surplus, let me give you a hint. We said that shortage and surplus come into the situation whereby we are moving out of the equilibrium. So when we move out of the equilibrium a bit, when we move from this point and we go even here, we will record surplus. When we come down here, we record what is called shortage. I hope it makes sense. So we are saying that shortage happens when we are charging a price which is lower than this, because the 5 Ghana cedis that we charge is lower than the equilibrium price. So shortage occurs when we are charging a price which is far lower or which is lower than the equilibrium price. And at the point of shortage, quantity demanded is greater than quantity supply, and the formula is quantity demanded minus quantity supply, shortage. Now surplus is the point above the equilibrium point or the equilibrium price. I hope it makes sense. When we charge a price, any price which is greater than the equilibrium price, we are going to record what is called surplus on the markets. I hope it makes sense. So we are saying that the surplus occurs case when we are charging prices above, higher above, or above the equilibrium price. I hope it makes sense. Nice one. So the formula for the surplus is equal to QX minus QD. I hope it makes sense. Now, having understood this, let us solve a small question, and then from there we conclude and then from there we move on. We conclude on this one, and then we look at consumer surplus and the producer surplus. I hope it makes sense. Now pick up the book, Possible Series. Possible Series. We are going to look at page 59 and the page 60. The question over there. I hope it makes sense. Page 59 and the page 60. We are going to solve the question there. The question reads: demand and supply functions of wheat can be described. The demand and supply functions of wheat can be described by the following equations. QD, which is quantity demand, QD equal to 150 minus 10p. 150 minus 10p, which is the demand function, and QX, which is supply function, equal to 30 plus 5p respectively. Determine the equilibrium price and quantity. Calculate for the total revenue at the market clearing price and quantity, or calculate for the market revenue at the equilibrium price and quantity. It's the same thing, right? What is third one? Provided there is a price legislative of 5 Ghana cedis. Provided there is a price legislative of 5 Ghana cedis. Show whether there exists surplus or shortage in the economy. Provided there is a price legislative of 5 Ghana cedis, show whether there exists surplus or shortage in the economy. IV. Provided there is a price legislative of 10 Ghana cedis, show whether there exists surplus or shortage in the economy. IV. Provided there is a price legislative of 10 Ghana cedis, show whether there exists shortage or surplus in the economy. All right. So looking at the components which are very essential, we have the quantity demand function to be 150 minus 10p, quantity supply to be 30 plus 5p, and then we have the price legislative, the first one, to be 5 Ghana cedis, which is the point number 3. The price legislative to be 5 Ghana cedis, and then IV, we have the price legislative to be 10 Ghana cedis. So we are going to use this information in order to answer the questions. I hope it makes sense. First question says that we have to calculate for the market clearing price and quantity, which is the same as equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. I hope it makes sense. Nice one. So we are moving on straight away. We have our quantity demanded and we have quantity supply. Now, if you want to get full marks, always start with this. At equilibrium, always start with this phrase. At equilibrium. At equilibrium, quantity demand is equal to quantity supply. I hope it makes sense. Start with this. And then we have quantity demand to be 150. Substitutionally, it should follow what you have written. Quantity demand equal to quantity supply. So demand first, then equal to supply. Minus 10p equal to quantity supply is 30 plus 5p. I hope you are getting it. So over here, we have minus 10p and we have 5p, so we are going to do grouping of like terms. So 150 minus 30 equal to 5p plus 10p. We have 150 minus 30 plus 5p plus 10p. I hope it makes sense. So we are going to work out. Now 150 minus 30 is going to give us 120 equal to 5p plus 10p is going to give us 15p. So we are going to divide here by 15 and divide here by 15. This one will cancel this, and then we get price is equal to 120 divided by 15. 120 divided by 15 will give us 8 Ghana cedis. So this is our equilibrium price. This is our equilibrium price. And then equilibrium quantity, you said that put equilibrium price into either the demand function or the supply function, in any one of them to get equilibrium quantity. So put equilibrium price into quantity demand. That is what I want. So quantity demand will give us the equilibrium. We are going to get 150 minus 10 times p, and the p is 8, right? Like this. So quantity, equilibrium quantity 150, this one times this one is 80. So equilibrium quantity is equal to, we are going to get 150 minus 80. So we are going to get 70 units. Please, in examination room or during your quizzes, do not waste time. Once you reach here, calculate for the total revenue first. Total revenue equal to equilibrium price times equilibrium quantity. So equilibrium price is 8 times equilibrium quantity, which is 70. So multiply them and then you get Ghana cedis. So 70 times 8 will give us 560. That's the total revenue. I hope it makes sense. Now, having seen this one, we have to plot the demand and the supply curves, and then from there we look at our shortage and the surplus. Okay, so we are going to plot, and I told you that before you plot you need coordinates. So we are going to work out on the coordinates. I hope it makes sense. Now I have demand function to be 150. So the demand function is 150 minus 10p. 150 minus 10p. So that's the demand function. I hope it makes sense. So when QD is equal to 0, I'll get 0 equal to 150 minus 10p. So I'll divide here. I'll send this one here. Minus 150 equal to minus 10p. Divide here by 10. This one will cancel this. Divide here by 10. This one will cancel this. You go to here 15. I hope it makes sense. Nice one. Negative 10, negative 10. So I'll get P. Let me write it here. I'll get P equal to Ghana 15. Right? And then representing it on a coordinate form, Q and then P will give us 0 and then 15. When P is equal to 0, when P is equal to 0, quantity demanded is equal to 150. So the coordinates are going to be 150 and then P, which is 0. I hope it makes sense. So I have two coordinates for demand. Now supply function, quantity supply function is equal to, quantity supply function is equal to QX 30 plus 5P. QX 30 plus 5P. So when QX is equal to, when QX is equal to 0, I'll get 0 equal to 30 plus 5P. And I'll get minus 30 equal to 5P. I will divide here, right? I will divide here by, okay, I will divide here by 5, and I will divide here by 5. So we will divide through by 5, negative 30 by 5, and then 5p also by 5. So 5 will go here 1, 5 will go into negative 30 by negative 6. So we are going to get price equal to Ghana 6. It is negative. It is negative price, please. It is negative. It is not a mistake. It is negative. Okay? All right. We need a coordinate. We are not interested in economics. We need the economic decisions. That is what we are interested in. We are not interested in the calculation. I hope it makes sense. So Q, representing them on a coordinate Q and P, we are going to get 0. We are going to get 0 and negative 6. So supply, we have gotten these coordinates. I hope it makes sense. Now let us calculate for the other coordinates so that we can plot supply curve too. Supply curve. Demand curves, where are they? Okay, they are here. I don't want to clean them. And then, so where is it? We go over here, we say when Q, so when P equal to 0, that's what I don't want you to waste time. When P is equal to 0, quantity supply is equal to 30. Quantity supply is equal to 30. Quantity supply is QS equal to 30 plus 5P. There is no minus here. There is no minus there. So when P is equal to 0, right, we are going to get QS is equal to autonomous supply. So QX is equal to 30. So Q and P representing them, we are going to get 30 and 0. I hope it makes sense. So this and this. Now we are going to plot. We are going to represent them on a curve. Are we here? Here is quantity and here is price. Let us plot the demand first. 0, 15. 0 is for quantity, 15 is for price. Then 150 is for quantity. So I'm done with demand. That's the demand curve. Now it's left with the supply curve. Supply, I have 0 and negative 6. 0 and price negative 6, so I'm coming down. 0 and price negative 6. 0 and price negative 6. And then 30 and 0. 30 and 0. So quantity is 30. It will be somewhere here. And then price is 0. So the supply function here also will be like this, supply function. So here is the intersection of the supply function, which is the equilibrium. Equilibrium quantity and then equilibrium price. What did we get for the equilibrium quantity? What did we get for the equilibrium quantity and the equilibrium price? I hope it makes sense. So we got 70 for the equilibrium quantity and we got 8 for the equilibrium price, and we multiply this by this and we got our total revenue. That is our total revenue. All right, that is our total revenue. We got that. So having understood this one, let us work out on the shortage and the surplus on the market. First one, we said that the price is 5 Ghana cedis. The price is 5 Ghana cedis. So he said, provided there is a price legislative of 5 Ghana cedis, show whether there exists surplus or shortage in the economy. Please, as soon as you get your equilibrium to the 8 Ghana cedis, and you are saying that the price legislative is 5 Ghana cedis, you have to know that the price is far lower than the equilibrium price. And if the price is lower than the equilibrium price, even without calculating for it, you should be able to know that you are going to get shortage. I hope it makes sense. You are going to get shortage because the price is lower than the equilibrium price. And the other one, the price is 10 Ghana cedis. So before calculating for it, you have to even know that you are going to get what is called surplus. I hope it makes sense. So let us conclude on that. So shortage is equal to quantity demand minus quantity supply. So we have to get a quantity demand and have to get a quantity supply. And the quantity demand function is 150 minus is 150 minus 10p. 10p. And the p we set at price Ghana 5 cedis. We are answering number 3 at price 5 Ghana cedis. So we put 5 Ghana cedis here. And then quantity demand is equal to 150 minus 50, which is equal to 100 units. So 5 Ghana cedis, we have gotten our quantity demand to be 100. Now quantity supply is equal to 30 plus 5p, 30 plus 5p, and the p is 5 Ghana cedis. So 5, this one times this one will give us 25. Right, this one times this one will give us 25. So KX equal to 30, okay, plus 25 will give us what is called 55 units. Right. So if it is 55 units, you have gotten quantity demand to be 100, quantity supply to be 55. Then shortage, we can now calculate for our shortage. Shortage is equal to 100 minus 55, and I think we are going to get somewhere 45, right? 100 minus 55, we are going to get 45 units. So that's the third part. So from the conclusion, we could see that there exists shortage when we were charging 5 Ghana cedis, or when there was a price legislative of 5 Ghana cedis. I hope it makes sense. Now I've told you that you need not to waste time. Look at the price and look at the equilibrium price. As soon as you see that the price is lower than the equilibrium price, then you move on. It is shortage. When you see that the price legislative is higher than the equilibrium price, then you use excess formula, which is surplus. I hope it makes sense. Nice one. So we are moving on. That is the IV. At the price of Ghana 10 cedis. Now looking at this one, the price is 10 Ghana cedis and the equilibrium price is 8 Ghana cedis. So I need not to test it to see whether it is shortage or surplus. I know that it is surplus because the price is bigger than the equilibrium price. I hope it makes sense. Nice one. So the price is bigger than the equilibrium price. The price is bigger than the equilibrium price. So we are going to get quantity supply. So quantity supply, the quantity supply function is equal to 30 plus 5p. 30 plus 5p. So 30 plus 5p. So quantity supply, we are going to get 30 plus 5, and the p is 10. So we are going to get 30 plus this one and this one will give us 50. So when you put them together, you are going to get 80 units. That's the quantity supply. And then quantity demand is equal to 150 minus 10p, and the p is 10. So we are going to get quantity demand equal to 150 minus 100. So we are going to get 150 minus 100, which will give us 50 units. And then we have 50 units for the quantity demand and we have 80 units for the quantity supply. So you can see that the supply is excess of the demand, right? So straight away surplus on the market is equal to quantity supply minus quantity demand. I hope it makes sense. Quantity supply minus quantity demand, and the quantity supply is 80 units and the quantity demand is 50 units. So when you subtract, we get the excess of 30. So surplus equal to 80 minus 50. So we are going to get 30 units, which is the surplus. Once again, my name is Possible. Make sure to get for yourself Possible series, which is Possible book. I hope it makes sense. Pick the contact which is running on the screen and then call it and you get a copy for yourself. Make sure also to subscribe to the channel so that you will not be left out. In our next lecture, we are going to look at consumer surplus, producer surplus, and then from there we look at the price ceiling and the price floor, and then from there we move on. Thank you for watching. Bye.